Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that's deeply personal and, unfortunately, all too common. It's about love, betrayal, and the difficult question of whether a relationship can truly survive after trust is shattered. This is the story of how my wife's promise to change didn't mean her heart would follow. Our life together, at least from the outside, looked perfect. We were college sweethearts, the kind of couple everyone said was meant to be. We built a home, had two amazing kids, and created a life filled with laughter and shared dreams. I thought we had it all. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, things started to shift. It began with small things: late nights at the office that became more frequent, phone calls she'd take in another room, a general distance that settled between us like a fog. I tried to ignore it at first. I told myself it was stress from her new promotion, or maybe I was just being paranoid. We were busy with the kids, with our careers. It's normal for couples to go through phases, right? But the gnawing feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. The woman I loved, the one who knew me better than anyone, was starting to feel like a stranger living in my house. The easy intimacy we once shared was replaced by a polite, almost formal distance. The truth finally came out, not in a dramatic confrontation, but in a quiet, heartbreaking confession late one night. She had been seeing someone from her work. The words hung in the air, shattering the world I thought I knew. I felt a mix of emotions so intense it was dizzying: pure rage, profound sadness, and a deep, hollow emptiness. How could this happen? How could we happen? In the days that followed, we were trapped in a storm of tears, accusations, and painful questions. She was filled with remorse, or at least that's what it looked like. She swore it was a mistake, a moment of weakness that meant nothing. She promised to end it, to do whatever it took to fix us. She promised to go to counseling, to be completely transparent, to earn back my trust. And a part of me, the part that still loved her desperately, wanted to believe her. For the sake of our family, for the history we shared, I agreed to try. So we embarked on the painful journey of rebuilding. We went to therapy, had the most difficult conversations of our lives, and tried to piece our broken marriage back together. On the surface, she kept her promises. She cut off all contact with the other person. She was home every night. She shared her phone, her passwords, a level of transparency that felt both necessary and deeply unnatural. She was trying. I could see her making the effort. But here's the thing that no one tells you about forgiveness after betrayal. You can forgive the act, but you can't force a heart to return home when it has already wandered. While she was physically present, her spirit, her heart, was somewhere else. The laughter we shared felt forced. The "I love yous" felt like lines from a script she was obligated to read. We were living together, but we were more alone than ever. I'd catch her staring out the window with a distant look in her eyes, a sadness she couldn't hide. When I'd ask what was wrong, she'd just shake her head and say, "Nothing, just tired." But I knew. I knew she wasn't just mourning the affair. She was mourning the connection she had with him. She was going through the motions with me, with our family, but her emotional core was still entangled with someone else. The intimacy we tried to rebuild was the hardest part. It felt hollow, a performance of what we used to be. The easy affection, the spontaneous hugs, the shared glances that spoke volumes, they were all gone. In their place was a careful, calculated effort. It was like she was following a manual on how to be a good wife, but the soul behind the actions was missing. She was there in body, but her heart had never truly come back. It took me a long time to accept this. I kept hoping that one day I'd wake up and the woman I married would be there again, fully present and in love with me. I held on to her promise to change, believing it was enough. But a promise is just words. True change, true reconciliation, requires a change of heart. And that was something she couldn't give me. Maybe she couldn't even give it to herself. Eventually, I had to face the devastating reality. We weren't rebuilding our marriage. We were just prolonging the pain. We were roommates raising children, haunted by the ghost of a love that was no longer there. The decision to finally end our marriage was the most difficult one I've ever had to make. It felt like a failure, a final admission that the love I had fought so hard to save was gone for good. Looking back, I realized that she promised to change her actions, and she did. But she never promised she could change her feelings, because that's something no one can promise. A heart can't be willed back into a place it has left. And while the betrayal was the catalyst, the real end of our marriage was the slow, quiet realization that her heart was no longer mine. This experience taught me a hard lesson. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes, even with the best intentions and all the promises in the world, you can't fix what's been fundamentally broken. And the bravest thing you can do is to let go, not with anger, but with the sad acceptance that some things are just not meant to be. It's a painful truth, but it's also the first step toward finding your own peace and starting a new chapter. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. If you've gone through something similar, please know you are not alone. It's a tough road, but there is healing on the other side. If you found this story resonant, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. Take care of yourselves.